Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for probably the biggest Chelsea FC news video of the summer so far. This week has been a bit of an eye-opening week in terms of Chelsea news. There has been big progressions in a certain striker, and first things first here on GBFC, I've got to say, it isn't the one that I've been preaching about here on this channel for the entire time. So for that, I don't want to apologise, because the whole goal of me pushing for Erling Haaland to Chelsea to build an energy pendulum of Chelsea fans getting excited about something because I thought it was feasibly possible. However, it turns out that Borussia Dortmund's position of not wanting to budge on their price for Erling Haaland has meant that without Chelsea putting through a bid, there isn't really any chance of Erling Haaland becoming a Chelsea player anyway. First things first though, before we carry on, is the cat. You haven't seen him for a while. He's just being an absolute nutter. So we're going to place him on the shoulder. But the big news, and what I want to talk about today, throughout the entirety of this Chelsea FC news video, is Romelu Lukaku, a man who was formerly a Chelsea player, and then, for whatever reason, didn't quite work for him under Jose Mourinho, missed the penalty in a Super Cup game, ends up getting sold, plays for West Brom, absolutely delivers. Plays for Everton, absolutely delivers. Goes to Manchester United. There are a lot of questions about whether or not Romelu Lukaku is a top striker. There were issues regarding his first touch. There were issues about his link-up play. Never any issues about his strength and his ability to turn and hold off defenders. But he goes to Inter Milan, and under Antonio Conte, we can now see a world-class, elite-level striker who has, of course, been Premier League proven during his time at both West Brom, Everton and Manchester United, and is Belgium's all-time record-leading goal scorer. The also incredibly exciting thing about the idea of Romelu Lukaku is that under Antonio Conte at Inter Milan, he's been playing in the centre of a front three. When we look at the abundance of attacking players that Chelsea have, Mason Mount, Pulisic, Ziyech, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Havertz, Werner, just to name a couple that first come to my head. I'm sure there's probably still some more that we've got here because we do have a very big, strong squad. Lukaku through the middle of that, I absolutely see as a recipe for success at Chelsea. It is also known that Thomas Tuchel is a big fan of Romelu Lukaku. So we've gone from a position a couple of days ago where we're looking at what Chelsea are doing. We still see no bid for Haaland. Inter Milan are very much stern on their position of Romelu Lukaku isn't going anywhere. Lukaku supposedly had come out and said he doesn't want to leave. But then there's also the flip side of all of these coins where until a bid is actually submitted, Inter Milan, of course, are going to want to show that they wish to keep Romelu Lukaku at the club. Chelsea have reportedly now placed 2 bids for Romelu Lukaku, and it still isn't something that Inter Milan are willing to accept. The first of which was something within the region of £86 million, which is a hell of a lot of money. It would be Chelsea's record transfer signing. Inter Milan, as we know, are a club who this season needed to sell some players in order to sort out a very difficult financial situation they are in. They saw Romelu Lukaku, quote Fabrizio Romano, as an untouchable player. However, whoa, okay, that was almost a catastrophic disaster as the camera almost fell in the swimming pool. So we're going to try and rectify this as best as we possibly bloody can. Inter Milan saw Romelu Lukaku as an untouchable player. However, as Chelsea seemed to understand that things were going to get very, very difficult to bring Erling Haaland to the club, Borussia Dortmund have been stood in the same spot now for 2 months. They've said unless there is an astronomical bid that comes in, which of course, the camera's doing it again. Chelsea, at this moment in time, haven't even placed an official bid for Erling Haaland. So there was nothing concrete. There was no real movements from Chelsea other than expressed media interests. And I'm sure conversations were probably happening behind closed doors where Chelsea were trying to test Borussia Dortmund. What do you want for him? Is it cash only? Would you be interested, as we've heard the rumours, in Tammy Abraham coming the other way to knock down the price? Maybe a Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now, as much as none of that was made in an official bid, I do believe that the signing or potential signing of Erling Haaland, I want to make it clear here that as much as I will big up Romelu Lukaku, obviously, because he is a top-class striker, I did want Erling Haaland at Chelsea for this reason. 21 years old, impeccable goal-scoring record, and I firmly believe that a man of his character and quality, he's going to be the next footballing prodigy. And I think in terms of conversations, Messi, Ronaldo level. I think Erling Haaland could eventually get to that level, and he's only 21 years old. However, I totally understand that Chelsea know there is a release clause next summer, and spending 175 million euros to get Erling Haaland is a little bit astronomical. It's a bit ridiculous when there is already a 28-year-old striker in the prime years of his career. The only issue with being in the prime is that in terms of resale value, Chelsea probably won't be able to make anywhere close to what they're going to. We are, in fact, to secure the signature of Romelu Lukaku. But at 28, we have got a man who is absolutely bagging goals in for fun everywhere at the moment. At Inter Milan, he was the player of the season last year in Serie A. Inter Milan win the title. For Belgium, he's their all-time leading goal scorer. And I just think this man is built for the Premier League. At Manchester United, it was kind of like a transitional phase in his career, or that's what it ended up being like, because Lukaku probably saw that move as the career move. At United, it didn't quite work. He came in for a lot of scrutiny. It didn't really work in the system they were trying to play. And I think individually, there were elements of Lukaku's game that he was still developing, which is why he wasn't the standout, all-guns blazing striker that Man United thought he was going to be. At Inter Milan, he finally became that striker. And I think the beautiful thing about this is that when Lukaku looks back on his career, of course, the goals that he scored, the assists that he's got, the records that he has are absolutely fantastic. But Chelsea would have been, or is still, an unfinished chapter in the book that is the Lukaku career. Now, if Chelsea are to get this deal over the line, it is being reported at the moment that Chelsea are looking to offer 120 million euros plus Marcos Alonso. Now, obviously, we all know Marcos Alonso has been a Marmite kind of player for Chelsea over the years, but with Ben Chilwell now at the club, Emerson being European champion, twice in one summer, one of the left-backs is going to have to leave the club. If Alonso is wanted by Inter Milan and it can lower that price a little bit for Chelsea, then it leaves us a little bit more cash in reserve to go for a defensive midfielder, to go for a centre-back, and it isn't 175 million euros that Erling Haaland would have been, which would have put an astronomical dent in whatever money Chelsea have available to strengthen the squad this summer. So, Romelu Lukaku to Chelsea. It is sounding from the reports that we're reading all over the footballing world that this deal could actually be very close to happening. Inter Milan were pretty sure they weren't going to sell Lukaku this summer. They're still in financial difficulty. Chelsea's interest has become incredibly heavy. They're willing to put money on the table, and Alonso potentially as well. I personally believe that as much as I've gone on about Erling Haaland to Chelsea, this is why Haaland's going to sign for Chelsea, I'm more than happy to stand here today on GBFC on the day that we hit 200,000 subscribers and eat a massive slice of humble pie with a little bit of ice cream, a little bit of custard, and say, I was wrong. I thought we were going to get Haaland. Dortmund just being absolutely regimented on the idea of keeping him has made it near impossible. Who knows? We might even bring in Haaland next summer, but going to make a call here. If Chelsea do go out and confirm the signing of Romelu Lukaku, fully expect Erling Haaland to be a Manchester United player next summer. When Edinson Cavani leaves, they're going to need a striker, and Erling Haaland's going to be available for an absolutely ridiculous steal price. So, Lukaku to Chelsea. Yes, it wasn't my first. I think I cemented that as best as I could in today's video. However, he is a top quality striker. Unfinished business at Chelsea. The prime years of his career, you know you're going to get 20 goals a season from him at least. When we look at what we were missing last season, it was a clinical goal scorer, a man that could score goals where we're drawing stupid matches or we're losing stupid games, and you just know that you've got a big target man up top who can link up with the brilliant young players we have around him, score a couple of goals. Next thing you know, that game that would have been 1 point away at West Brom becomes 3. The defeats that we'd have had in stupid matches at home become scrappy little wins because we've got a man who can deliver the goods in front of goal. And there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Romelu Lukaku is very much striker. But anyway, I'm sure by the time you watch this video, GBFC should be on 200,000 subscribers. So I want to say a massive thank you to each and every one of you. This is a big, big achievement for me. I'm incredibly happy. It's my birthday also in 2 days' time, so that makes it feel even better. Lukaku to Chelsea, we're going to keep an eye on this one. I'm going to be updating you guys every single day now until this either happens or it doesn't happen. It's still not concrete. I'm talking today as if it is, because it's the only time since we won the Champions League where there's really been any Chelsea news that seems like it's actually going somewhere, because we're actually making the effort to try and sign him, because Haaland pretty much off the window. But anyway, going to be uploading a brand new Chelsea FC news video later on today with a load of other stories about a load of other players. It's heating up now. We're in August. The Premier League season starts soon. We've got a Super Cup game against Villarreal to look forward to as well, and maybe the return of Big Rom. See you guys later. Come on, you Blues.